Hello, dear friends all over the world. This is Maxine Taylor with my full moon ceremony for December 2020. And it's the last full moon, of course, of the year. Um, if you're looking in an ephemeris, it says that the moon will be full on December 30th, but that's because the ephemeris may be written for GMT, noon or midnight GMT. In Atlanta, Georgia, where I live, the full moon is going to be at 11:29 p.m. on the 29th. And the full moon is in 9 degrees of Cancer. It's 8 Cancer 53, so we just rounded up a few more minutes. 9 degrees of Cancer. Look in your birth chart to see where 9 degrees of Cancer falls and what aspect it makes to the other planets. Or if you know just enough to know what house it's in, that tells it all, because that's the area of life that is going to come to a head. It can be wonderful, absolutely wonderful, because it brings things to a head that you've planted the seeds on the new moon, and on the full moon, the plant bears fruit. It's just that simple. And since you are the creator of your life, you can create it any way you like. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, so what I'm going to do now is just go through each sign and tell you where the full moon falls in your solar chart, because that's the area of life that will come to a head. Now, if you also, as I mentioned, look for 9 degrees of Cancer in your birth chart and combine the two, because they both blend beautifully. Or you don't even have to blend them. They complement each other and they tell a different facet of your story that is activated. So, of course, I'm going to start with our beautiful moon children, Cancerians. And of course, this full moon falls in your first house of your solar chart. It is your turn to do what you want, when you want, how you want, because you want. Your sensitivity is very strong naturally. Your psychic ability, your empathic reaction to people, well, it's going to be stronger on this particular full moon because it is in your sign. Now, normally on a full moon, I suggest that you allow 5 degrees orb on each side of the moon. In other words, if it's in 9 degrees, then if you have anything from 4 degrees of the sign, in this case, Cancer, to 14 degrees, that gives you a nice 5-degree orb. However, what I have experienced and observed is that when there is a lunation, like a full moon, in your sign, it doesn't have to sit on anything. All it has to do is stand there looking cute, blinking and breathing, and bringing things to a head. Now, that bringing things to a head, the planets don't make us do anything. They reflect what's going on. So if you know where this full moon is, you can take advantage of it. So it's your turn, Cancer. Leo, excuse me, great, grand, glorious Leo. You want solitude and privacy on this full moon. You've expended a great deal of effort and energy around the Christmas celebration. And now you're saying, go away, world. I just need to sleep. I just need to relax. Don't bother me. What you can do that will be very successful for you now is meditate, because this particular full moon indicates that you are truly in tune with the spirit world, which is lovely. Virgo, well, this particular full moon says it's a terrific time for you to be with your friends. and be a friend to all. Now, Virgo, you are a sign of service, and I know that you love to give and love to serve. And with this full moon, you can do it on a larger scale because it brings out the humanitarian in you. Libra, wow. This full moon really helps you move upward in your career. Helps is in quotes, okay? Air quotes. It is time for you to move upward, to be the leader, to claim your leadership ability now, not to wait, but do it now. Have you been thinking in terms of opening a business, moving upward in your current career? This is a sign that your thoughts are right on target and to go ahead and do it. Scorpio, the most powerful sign in the zodiac. You are able to see a much bigger picture than you thought was waiting for you. You're very philosophical right now. This is really cool. And um, your higher mind is open to new ideas. And I encourage you to follow that thread wherever it leads you. Okay? Sagittarius, it's a time of transformation for you. If people come to you and want to pool resources like money, check it out because this is a time to look beneath the surface rather than above the surface. Don't look on the table, look at what's going on underneath the table. It's a time where people can confide in you. And so be sure and keep their secrets to yourself. Capricorn, excuse me, relationships of all sorts, getting together with other people, that very special person perhaps. All of your relationships come to a head. So is there one person you've been wanting to get together with? Is there a business opportunity that you're really excited about? This is a time to get out there and be with others. I love it. Aquarius. This full moon says get down to business at work, not career, but job, J-O-B. All right. The details of everyday living. So you're going to be kind of like a Virgo, crossing T's and dotting I's. But you, as a humanitarian, will naturally do it on a broader spectrum because you are the sign of humanity and astrology, I might add. So if you've been studying astrology and you've been thinking about maybe doing it professionally, this full moon in your sixth house of work is really encouraging you in that direction. Pisces, oh, it's time to party and have fun. It's time to play. And if you have children, they will remind you of that because they want to play with you. How beautiful is that? Aries, well, home and family, and even just plain old ordinary real estate. That is where your attention is now. You may have been sheltering in place, and this full moon encourages you to continue that for a little while longer. That's okay. And if you're thinking of moving, now is a great time to get into your car and start checking out different neighborhoods, or get online if you're thinking of moving further away than to a nearby community. I love the way that looks. And Taurus, you have terrific ideas. You want to share them with people. Right now, you may be more talkative with this full moon than you normally are, helping people look at their money, perhaps, get clear on their values. And it's you saying, I really need a break. I want to get in my car and just circle the block a few times. It's a time of communication, possibly with siblings. And last but not least, Gemini, this full moon says there is an increase in your income, increasing incoming. This brings your money to a head. and can create abundance. Looks like a terrific full moon. So normally when I have my full moon ceremonies at the Phoenix and Dragon bookstore in Atlanta, and I haven't had any of those since COVID reared its ugly head. I usually have about 50 people, maybe 60 for my full moon ceremonies. And so I welcome multiples of that around the world because we can do this on the internet. So what we normally do now is we take our lists that we have brought with us. And if you haven't written up a list for yourself of what you'd like to create this month, put this video on pause and just jot down a few notes about what you'd like to create for you this month. And I mentioned with the full moon, uh, the coming month, I should say, because this is going to be good through the full moon in January. I love it. I just love it. So we're ending the year on a fabulous full moon. My suggestion is that you write a list, knowing that it's going to be with you. You can create it any way you choose to, and we're going to activate it right now. On your list, put down whatever you want for you for the next 28 to 30 days. It can be beauty, it can be health, it can be money, it can be love. Whatever it is that you want more than anything, this is the list that you burn. And the reason we burn it is it's a ceremony for our mind, okay? We let it go to God so that God can bring it to us tenfold beyond what we imagined. Isn't that cool? So I have at the Phoenix and Dragon, I have this enormous flower pot because we have so many people and they're burning their lists. We have enough, to make s'mores. Uh, it's a party waiting for a place to happen. When you do it, you can do it in a bowl. You can do it outdoors. If the weather permits, there's nothing like a full moon ceremony under the full moon. Beautiful. So we burn our lists and turn them over to God, because if we hang on to them, God can't give us what we want. And when I say God, I mean your definition of God. Spirit, the I am, Jesus, source, whatever your concept of God is, it's your life. Live it your way. So I'm going to see about, normally I have a fire starter, a person who has one of those fire starters. So I had two, the fire starter person and the fire starter, because it worked. I love it. And so what you're going to do, please join me in starting a bit of a bonfire, and you can see it burning. Some paper burns much more easily than other paper. And I am releasing my list, my own personal list, and you are yours, to God. And I've lived long enough to know that whatever we ask for in a state of love, we get. So I'm putting my hand over my heart so that I move into a state of love. That's how you do it. That's the whole big deal. because wherever your hand is where your attention goes, and wherever your attention is what grows. And I have not put dirt in this particular bowl this time, and it's burning like a champ. I've discovered the key to getting a good fire started. Don't put dirt in the bottom of it. And so what I'm going to do is take this bowl and move it off to the side and let it burn out. And it's a beautiful light. And as you burn yours, say, thank you, God. Thank you, Source. Thank you, Universe. Thank you, Multiverse. Thank you, Spirit, for everything you have brought to me. And thank you in advance for delivering to me what I have now given to you on my list. Okay, now I'm going to deviate a little bit from what I usually do because I have a step that I'm going to be including in my new book called Take Back Your Life that is very, very powerful and can serve you anytime, anywhere when you come out of the present. I learned this many, many years ago. I'm going to give you one version of it, and then I'm going to give you another. And you're going to select the one that you love the best. I notice that a lot of people live in fantasy. Someday he'll divorce his wife and marry me. No, he won't. Someday I'll win the lottery. Well, I know somebody's got to, but you know. And fantasy astrologically is ruled by Neptune, and Neptune is escape. And we escape very often into alcohol, nicotine, caffeine, drugs of all types, overeating, sleeping, anything that gets us away from reality, because reality can be painful. Okay. So when we're in fantasy, we're not present. We are not there. And we're not functioning on all cylinders. Now, Neptune is what rules fantasy, but Neptune also rules divine inspiration. If you are bogged down in a fantasy, there is sorrow, there is sadness, there is martyrdom, there is victimhood, there's all that stuff. And so if you let go of living in a fantasy, you will just let it go to Source, to God. You will immediately move into reality. Reality is ruled by Saturn. Reality can be very difficult to deal with because from the wafting of energies that comes from the Neptunian fantasy, the Saturnian reality of life is heavy. And it can be very difficult to deal with. And so what happens is we go right back into fantasy because we say, okay, enough with the reality. I can't function there. But if we move in the other direction, from fantasy to reality, to truth, because reality is not necessarily truth. Truth is truth. Reality deals with fact, and facts can be brutally difficult to deal with. But there is a gift in moving into truth, which to me is Jupiter and the sun. So fantasy is Neptune, reality is Saturn, and truth, which is the gift that we move into, that we receive, is the Sun and Jupiter. We see that there is a gift in everything, every tragedy, even. There is a gift in that. So, if you are in fantasy, or if you find yourself in fantasy, which means you're overeating, over drinking, you're escaping on some level, just release fantasy, step out of fantasy, and you will move into reality. You don't want to stay there too long, right? Because it can hit you in the nose. You know what I mean? And when you see it very clearly, you move from it, and you accept that you are in truth. And the truth does set you free. And this is where you want to live and have your being, because this is the place where you are in tune with God. Another very easy way of doing this, another way, very, very simply, especially around Christmas time, we move into the past. And it's supposed to be ho, 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 tra la la. Well, a look at what has been going on around the world in every single country. It's not ho, ho, ho. Christmas was very difficult for many, many people, whether they were dealing with health issues like a pandemic, or money issues like waiting for a stimulus check that hadn't arrived yet, this type of thing. It has been, the past has been sad. When we're in the past, we are victims, we're martyred, we don't have the strength to move, and we're waiting for somebody to come along and save us. And very often we choose somebody who promises the moon and barely delivers a twinkling star because they can't save us. And so you want to move out of the past, because the past deals with being a victim and sorrow and sadness and hopelessness. So you just let it go. And then you are instantly in the future. Now, in the future, you're doing. You're moving around. You're saying, I got to get this show on the road. And so fantasy is Neptune. The past is Neptune. In the future, we're dealing with Mars, energy, action. Let's get going. Let's do it now. Because you're trying to get good enough as soon as you can. In the past, you know you're not good enough, and this is what depletes your energy. When you're in the future, you've got a goal, and you know if you just get across that goal line, you'll be happy. No, there's always another task. And so if you will let go of the future, because the future is in the future, it's always elusive. It's like having a carrot in front of you, in front of your nose, always striving, never arriving. And where you find yourself when you let go of the future is in the precious present. And accept, I am in the present. And that feels so good. And you might put your hand on your heart and feel the love that is what you are. Because that's what you are. You are God in an earthbound body. You are source energy. You are the I am. And what I would like to suggest that we do, because I would assume that most of the people who would watch my my virtual full moon ceremony are very much like the people who, before the pandemic, came in person. You are light workers. You are star seeds. You are healers. You are walk-ins. You came here to serve, didn't you? So let's, if this feels good to you, take our light, take your own light and turn it up. Turn up the light, feel it, and send it around the world. Send it to somebody in need. Now, I am not suggesting that you send it to the darkness. No, I'm not suggesting that. I'm suggesting that you use your light to magnify the love, the health, the truth, the friendship of people all over the globe. That's what I suggest you do. And so let's just do it now. As I'm talking, you can do it. Feel it emanating from you because it's endless. It's limitless. You are limitless. You are light. You are love. And that's the truth. Now, I have my star cards. I love them. I made them years ago. They're just laminated. Home Depot does them. Excuse me, Office Depot does them. I always get those two confused in my head. Office Depot, they can make them up any way you want. And I thought, as I've been doing, I would pull some of these cards. And I'll say it using the pronoun you. You repeat it with the pronoun I, because this is for you. It's all about you. Okay. You lift the planet. You say, I lift the planet. I'm getting goosebumps already. Your clients and friends love you. My clients and friends love me. Express your beauty. I express my beauty. You are magical. I am magical. Now you know why I made these cards. That happiness is yours. Happiness is mine. I'm going to add something to it. Happiness is mine. I choose it. Choose happiness. You are honorable. I am honorable. You are brilliant. I am brilliant. I got to see what fell to the floor. You know, for those of you who read cards, you know, maybe you don't, but there's an old saying, what falls to the floor comes to the door. Here we go. You are powerful. I am powerful. Yeah, baby. You make a difference. I make a difference. We make a difference. You are fun. I am fun. And we'll do a couple more. Normally at this point, I'm going around the circle and reading everybody and coming up with a mantra for everybody. And the beauty of that is that it's not just for the person I'm reading. We are one. And so everybody who comes to that circle brings what the mantra for you is, and for her is, and for him is. And now with our reach, we're global. Claim your success. I claim my success. You are funny. I'm funny. I've been told it, yeah. Claim your power. I claim my power. I'm going to say my God-given power. You inspire. I inspire. You are mega talented. I am mega talented. I want to thank all of you for attending this virtual full moon ceremony. It's not quite the same as being out on the patio at the Phoenix and Dragon, but we're still forming a circle, holding hands around the globe, and everyone is welcome. Please feel free to share this video with anyone you like, anybody who you feel really belongs to this circle. Perhaps somebody who needs a lift, somebody who has been doing, and this will allow them to be. And so, dear friends, till next month, may the stars shine brightly on you and yours. Bye for now.